probably not going to understand, maybe you will, but there's an advantage to having the shaft vertical. And when I say vertical, a straight line from the shaft through the forearm. Nobody does that except Bryson DeChambeau, and he's one of the few guys. There's another guy that played golf and was considered one of the best ball strikers of all time, Mo Norman, and he set the shaft. He wanted one straight line from the forearm through the ball. And why? The reason he did that is he didn't want any hand action. And from that position, your hands are very quiet. Oh. That is unusual, though, I will tell you that. Most people will have an angle from the shaft through the forearm. There'll be a break there. Typically, most people have, with the clubs flat on the ground, the shaft should run right through the belly button.
Yeah.
Now, am I saying what you're doing is wrong? No, I'm not saying it's wrong, because I don't think it is wrong. But it's unorthodox. I'm going to judge your swing based on contact and how consistent you are. Alright, so the first thing that strikes me when you took the club back was your head. I think you have a lot of weight on your heels because your brain will seek balance subconsciously, and I think moving forward is a reaction to having too much weight on your heels. That's my personal thing.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. I have a mat that's going to tell me here in a second how much weight you have on your heels. But in terms of the technique of your swing, that looks fine.
I mean, I'm a little off plane, but...
Yeah, it's underneath a little. I'd like to see the club head stay more pointed at the middle of your chest. So in other words, I'd like to see the shaft more closely resemble this angle.
Yeah.
You can see hers. That's more of a, what I would call, similarity or fundamental as it relates to most players.
Okay.
You're going to see the triangle maintained, you're going to see the upper arms pinned against the chest, and you're going to see the shaft pointing at whatever position. When you establish your address position, my shaft tends to point pretty much at my belt. When I take the club away to the first parallel, it's still pointing there.
Okay, well, what Brennan was wanting me to do was have that straight arm even with my driver.
Straight arm, I don't follow. What do you mean straight arm?
Well,
oh, you mean have the shaft?
The same action here and then bringing it down to the ball with my driver.
Okay.
And that isn't how I've usually been doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's just, to me, this takeaway is a little bit off plane.
Okay.
The club face is a little bit closed at the top.
But I haven't had the next lesson with him yet to say, so, but I'm used to doing my driver, you know, more in the center point of my belt buckle, but do you want me to use the same swing with set the club the same way with my driver as my irons? Or do I really have three swings, one with my wedges, one with my irons, and one with my driver?
I wouldn't have it that way. Okay. But anyway, this is the net effect.
Okay.
Your head goes down toward the ball, but when you strike the ball, your head doesn't move. So there's impact. Your head's almost in the identical position. Here's address.
Right.
Here's impact.
So I'm using my head to rebalance.
Yep.
Okay.
So your head goes forward and your brain says, you know what? I'm going to hit it right off the hosel if I don't stand back up. The problem with that is the best players in the world don't go up through the hitting zone. They don't.
Right.
They go down in transition. Anyway, so my point is, I like everything you're doing.
But I'm coming down, not a lot, but I'm coming down underneath.
Yeah, your plane is good. Your plane is good.
Okay, which is what I worked on all winter.
Yeah, your plane is really good. Yeah, the plane is really good. Now, you have a very, like I said, a very vertical setup angle, which, like I said, I'm not saying that's bad or good. If you get good results, I'm not changing it. So, my only thing is the takeaway at this point, and then reestablishing your weight position so that, you know, I get a little nervous when I see people going forward because I just don't see.
Well, should I be taking the club back along my shoulder, like a little bit higher, or is it okay to take?
No, I like where your hands are there. That's fine. Like I said, though, I want to see if we can redistribute your weight at a setup and not have your head go toward the ball.
Okay. I didn't realize I was moving my head.
The reason why I think you top a lot of shots is because your head goes toward the ball, and then sometimes you stand up too abruptly, and your impact position is much higher than your address position.
I got it. Okay.
So I think this can only promote bad things. I don't think it can be good.
Okay.
I've learned a long time ago the great players go down, they don't go up. And what do I mean by that? Nobody's higher than they start.
Right.
It's just nobody does that.
Right.
So I'm thinking, if you're going to make a mistake, I'd rather you be down a little bit than up.
Right.
So my thing is, how do we get you not to go toward the ball? Now, what's interesting about Dustin Johnson is he doesn't do anything orthodox, and he's won the U.S. Open. So
He's so flexible, he can
right,
get away with it.
like I mean, his head does what yours does. It sort of goes down toward the ball, but
And then he stays down.
and then he stays down, right? So, you know, this guy is your build, Charlie Hoffman, short arms, really big upper body, very stocky guy. Similar swing to you, except his takeaway is different. So that would be my preference. And if you look at the shaft, it's slightly lower. That's all. So, and all I want to do is try to get you.
Well, my shaft is lower if I have it pointed at my belly button.
Yeah, it is. But what I want to do is, well, like I said, I want to get you not to go toward the ball on your backswing with your head. He's doing it a little bit too.
Yeah.
But see, the head's lower at impact. It's
Right.
not up.
Right.
So
Because
how
he's
do
really
you?
getting down on the ball.
Well, what he's doing is he's loading his left heel at impact, and that's what's great about this pressure mat. Because guys that stand up load their toes on impact. They don't load their heel. Think about it. If you push your weight into your left heel, your left hip's going to go back. How can you drop down? How can you go up? See, watch. If I push my weight back, my hip goes back. Well, my sacrum and my upper spine and lower spine are connected, so watch. If I push back, my head has to go down. If you load your toes, your hips come up forward and you stand up. Forward
Okay.
meaning there's some thrust. So anyway, I'm going to try to set your weight more over the arches of your feet, not over your heels. I think your weight's on your heels.
When I start, you think my weight's on my heels.
Right, and I think you move to your toes. And so what I want to do is go from the middle of your shoe, or maybe the balls of your feet, and load your heels on the backswing.
Okay, so start on the heels.
Start on more in the middle of your feet,
Heels.
and
My
then
head
as
goes
you take
down.
the club back, you're going to load into that right heel. You're going to feel like your weight's going into both heels, actually.